Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Tacoma. We're going to do a little releasing and breathing this morning before we start. So I'm going to invite you to join me on the chorus when the the chorus and the words are release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, we sing it twice, and this is how it goes. I'll go through the chorus once, and then join me whenever. Release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, try that with me. Release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, let go of the hatred that binds an open heart. It may not serve you well. Let go of the madness that rips people apart. It may not serve you well. Release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, let go of the anguish that keeps you all alone. It may not serve you well. Let go of the smugness that turns a heart to stone. It may not serve you well. Release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, release, 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 and breathe. When it does not serve you well, does not serve, does not serve, does not serve you well.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Unity of Tacoma. I'm so glad that you found us this morning. My name is Reverend Lori Erwin Johnson, and I am the spiritual leader here, and I use the pronouns she and her. And if this is your first time watching us, welcome. Nice to see you on this holiday weekend. A little dreary here in the Pacific Northwest, but it's supposed to get nicer, so especially by tomorrow on the 4th of July. And if you visited us before, we're so glad to have you back. You're always welcome to visit at Unity of Tacoma, and you can see us any day of the week. But we live stream at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, so you get to see it live and in person, on Sunday mornings at 10. I'd like to introduce our musical guest. You just had Cindy Akana, and I look forward to hearing what she has to offer today. I know she always brings the perfect music, and I thank her for being here today.
Thank you.
And a couple of weeks ago, I announced that I would be bringing in some basic Unity teachings into my message over the next coming months. And today is one of those special days. At Unity Worldwide Ministries, they have one of the Unity ministry pillars that they have is to reference back to and look back at our foundational teachings from the founders, the Fillmores, and their contemporaries and other people who were influential in the Unity movement. So today, we are going to talk a little bit about from the voice of Eric Butterworth, and he is one of my favorite teachers at Unity, and my message will expand upon his talk, but I will also present part of his talk today because it's so poignant and so appropriate for today, even though it was something that was released 43 years ago. So before we move forward, though, into our prayer process, which is our next point of our service, I would like you to, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and click that little bell button that you have there on your screen, just so you can get notified of what's going on here at Unity of Tacoma every time we have a new video or a new meditation or a new live stream that's prepared for you. So please like, subscribe, and click the bell. And so let's start off our service today with the prayer for protection. If you don't know the words, listen. You will learn them the more often you visit. And it goes, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is and all is well. So let's just, while we're already sitting in prayer, let's go right into prayer. Just blessing all of the people this weekend as they travel to their destinations to celebrate the July 4th celebration that is happening tomorrow. And as they move through their adventures this weekend, may they remain safe. May they use the right consciousness. May they have the ability to move forward in a way that is growth-oriented instead of something that may be negative. Because we know that people love to have a good time. And when we're having a good time, sometimes we're not in a space where thoughts are used appropriately. So let them use appropriate thoughts as they move about their weekend. And we know we can hold space for their safety and their love and making sure that everyone is having a great and wonderful time. Everyone out there, I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful 4th of July celebration tomorrow. Just stay safe and sane, as they tell you with your fireworks. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to have Cindy come back with another song, and then we'll come back with our affirmations and readings.
Sitting on the back porch of nothing, I had gone from father to husband, now traveling alone, with some odds and ends to show for my years. I was told to move on down life's highway, but instead I wandered scenic byways, and life became my friend. The summer I chose to pen my own frontier. I used to walk in the footsteps of another, from stepping stone to stepping stone, till I believed I had so much more to offer, and now I'm dancing in my own. I sport a shirt that says, watch out, baby, 'cause yes, I can, replaces all my maybes. The stars, the sun, the moon have grown an inch or two in my eyes. I used to walk in the footsteps of another, from stepping stone to stepping stone, till I believed I had so much more to offer, and now I'm dancing in my own. Some days I dance alone, with a crowd or someone in need. I dance where I am, with the power of I can. I can love and I can laugh and I can lead. Dance with me. I used to walk in the footsteps of another, from stepping stone to stepping stone, till I believed I had so much more to offer. And now I'm dancing, now I'm dancing, now I'm dancing in my
That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Our affirmation for today is a pretty appropriate because we are looking at the July 4th Independence Day celebration, which will be happening tomorrow. And our affirmation is the greatest freedom is not freedom from things or conditions. It is the freedom to be. The freedom to choose the kind of thoughts you think in the face of things. It's kind of long, but I'll read it again. The greatest freedom is not freedom from things or conditions. It is the freedom to be. The freedom to choose the kind of thoughts you think in the face of things. Our reading today is actually a message that was given by Eric Butterworth on July 1st of 1979. Now, if you're like people that I know, some people like my husband, and I won't mention his name or anything, but he talks about 1979 like it was 20 years ago. And it's actually not 20 years ago. It's 43 years ago, 1979. And I picked this because I thought it was very appropriate because we're still dealing with the same societal influences and stuff that they suffered with in 1979. And so 43 years later, we're still dealing with the same stuff. But I wanted to share this today because I thought it was very appropriate. I thought it was well worded, and I couldn't have said it any better. So I'm going to read that to you today, and then I will expand upon it a little bit later in the talk. The Greatest Freedom by Eric Butterworth. On this coming July 4th, known as Independence Day, there will be a lot of talk about freedom. And against the backdrop of long gas lines, strikes, shortages, and the harassment of inflationary pressure, there may well be a desire to redefine the words of freedom. Certainly everyone hungers for freedom from lack, from illness, from fear, and from bondage to any and all circumstances over which we have no control. In America, we have not only entertained the idea of freedom as doing what we want, but also of having what we want. This is why gasoline shortages are so annoying. All we can think of is if we have enough money to buy, there should always be the freedom to have and give. Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." And we miss the real meaning if we think of freedom as from gas lines, freedom from shortages, freedom from pain, etc. For there are no shortages, no limitations in God or in truth. These things are a human experience. Truth makes you free in mind, free from worry, free from discouragement, and free to choose the level of consciousness in which you meet life and change in circumstances. Fortunately, we have part of freedom as an escape, rather than as a creative act. The emphasis has been on freedom from something rather than freedom to do or be something. The emphasis has been on dropping out or running away. But the greatest freedom is the freedom to grow into a strong person that we create to facing up and successfully coping with those things we otherwise try to escape from. If we try to escape, to run away, to lean on people or on society's institutions, or to use chemical means for deadening the pain or softening the blow, we are not achieving freedom. Freedom is not an escape. It is the choice to be strong, to understand, to find a transcendent way. The beauty of Walden is not that Henry David Thoreau went away by himself, but that he came back. When he came back, freedom is a possibility. It's not running from a job, from the painful situation, but it is going away to get a new perspective, to find inner strength, and then returning to face up to it. The greatest freedom is not freedom from things or conditions. It is the freedom to be. The freedom to choose the kind of thoughts you think in the face of things. In the book of Revelations, we read, "Behold, I have set before you the open door which no man can shut." In other words, we are always in the flow, but we must realize it and keep ourselves consciously in terms with it. You may lose your job, but you can never lose your ability to create. Even if you're fired, you can never be fired from the universe. You may lose your house, but you can never really lose your true home and spirit, nor the spirit that made your house a home. No one has the power to shut the door to the real source of your good. Nothing can really stand in your way. Recall the story of Joseph, whose brothers sold him into slavery. It was a harsh introduction into the adult world. This was certainly not a humane way to introduce him to it, but somehow he met the crisis and made his way through the chain of serendipitous circumstances to become the prime minister of Egypt. Later he said to his brothers, "You may have intended it for evil, but God intended it for good." This is the greatest freedom, to choose how you meet things. You could name it good instead of commiserating and resenting or indulging in self-pity. You can know that things are working for good. If you announce after some reversal or disappointment, "Well, there goes my chances for success," then that is the level of consciousness in which you are working from for the immediate future. Is that what you want to happen? You can close your mind to life this way, but life never closes its doors to you. What seems to be a closed door is but the illusion created by your own negative feelings. Whistler, who eventually became a renowned painter, wanted as a youth to become a soldier. At West Point as a cadet, he failed a chemistry exam, and that terminated his military career. Somehow he knew the promise of the open door that no one could close. He tuned in on the relentless force within that is ever seeking to lead one to the perfect fulfillment of uniqueness. This did not mean the freedom to have what he wanted, to become a soldier at all costs, but it was the freedom from anything that could stand in the way of his good. As Schiller said, freedom is not doing what you want, but becoming what you must. So working in his desire to be a soldier, Whistler found himself ultimately following his artistic pursuits, which proved to be the right course for his life. In later years, he joked about the seeming chance that things turned his life around. He said, "If silicon had been gas, I might well have been a general instead of an artist." This is reminiscent of Shakespeare's classic line from As You Like It, "Sweet are the uses of adversity, which like the toad, ugly and venomous, wear yet a precious jewel in its head. And this our life exempt from public haunt, find tongues and trees and books in the running brooks, sermons and stones and good in everything." This is an important key. You too can find good in everything. Any challenge or change can work for good. And you can make a blessing out of whatever happens to be a disability, if you will take your stand and choose the kind of attitudes with which you have it all. Know that the door is forever open, and get yourself into the flow. The greatest of freedom is the freedom to know the truth in the face of what is negative. It is the freedom to be creative in spite of the problem. It may eventuate in a healing process leading to freedom from the problem itself. But sometimes we put so much effort in trying to demonstrate freedom from the conditions that we create an inner resistance that negates the outer gain. In other words, we must be sure that we are willing, not just willful, to know that there is an open door that no man can shut. But it is a divine flow, and not just a particular way that it must express. It means to keep open in your mind, to keep positive in your thoughts, and to keep loving in your tone. Knowing the truth is not just mouthing cliches of absolute truth, such as divine love heals all things. Many students on the spiritual path become metaphysical sloganeers. Actually, love will not solve the world's problems. Love will not solve anything. Loving will. Love is an abstraction. Loving is a creative flow of energy that harmonizes and heals. We talk about practical Christianity, but it is only practical when it is practiced. It is so easy to collect and parrot metaphysical propositions and affirmations of truth, but there is a great need to translate them into dynamic activities set into operation by conscious acts of volition. We must choose to use the truth that we know. We all desire to be free, to be whole, to conquer fear and worry, to live as we would like to live, and to do what we want to do. This desire is built into our very natures. The trouble is we have been so busy seeking freedom from certain things that we have not considered alternatives. What do we want freedom to do? True wholeness is not just lack of illness or pain. It is the coordination of mind and body and talents in the direction of worthwhile investments in one's life. Prosperity is not just an absence of lack. It is a creative flow of wisdom and guidance and the commitment of oneself to some creative endeavor from which there is sure and secure return of substance. The urge to be free is misconstrued as the longing to get out from under, to be rid of an unbearable condition. The labor market is crowded. The frustrated workers who run from job to job, constantly exercising their prerogative to be free from, but never facing up to themselves so as to make a creative choice to be free to apply their talents in the directions of success. So on this Independence Day, reflect upon this new insight into freedom, not the attempt to get freedom from oppression, from people, from problems, from pain, from insecurity. Let us begin to think of freedom in a more creative sense, the freedom to be, to become something, to be big enough to deal with the experiences of life, not just freedom to erase difficulties and to eliminate people as we may subconsciously be desiring, but rather freedom to release our spiritual capacities. When we understand this, we will begin to let go not only of our problems, but also of our rigid metaphysical concepts about them. And then to walk on and begin each day anew in our request for understanding. For the greatest freedom is the choice to begin again, and again, and again. Those words, and that long reading that I just read, are from Eric Butterworth from 1979, 43 years ago. And his words still ring true today. Today, we are constantly bombarded with negativity from our media, from everything that we turn on, whether it be our computers or our televisions or our radio stations. We have constant information that is coming in that is trying to pique and invoke a negative response. With the Supreme Court rulings over the last couple of weeks to insurrection hearings that we hear about every day, and not to mention the COVID-19 pandemic that continues to rage on, whether we want it or not. Today, more than ever, we need to remember that we are not what we see outside of us. Today, we need to remember that we are not the things that people say about us, nor are we the way that we look or dress or how we wear our hair, the cars that we drive, or how many likes we have on social media. We are free from all that worldly nonsense. We just need to embrace our freedom to choose and to be our authentic selves. We also need to remember that we still have the freedom of thought. And as we embrace that in our daily lives, things outside of us seem distressful and hurtful still go on without our interaction. It continues on without us. But our interpretation of what's going on is what's important. And that energy that we put towards it and how much time we spend on that choice is what's important. Our anger and frustrations are valid. We are all frustrated. We are all feeling this angst about what's going on in the world. There are struggles in our lives still, and there are lives of people that we know and people that we don't know. We see and hear about it every single day. We may forget in this process of being bombarded that we are truly beings of light, and we forget who we truly are. We have the ability to think and to believe and to be what we need to be in order to support growth and prosperity. Doing this while all the turmoil rages on around us, we may even be caught up in that downward spiral of negativity, and we sometimes might feel helpless. But our unity teachings, as Butterworth was talking about, really bolster us up by saying that we can transform the negativity instead of eliminating it. We go within and we experience our source of power, and that is where our divine energy is coming from. We can detach from the illusion that's what's going on outside of us. We may even get connected with our true natures if we do that. We are true children of God, and we need to remember that. I was pulling out another book as I was starting to talk about this Eric Butterworth speech that he wrote, and I pulled out Deepak Chopra's book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Everybody knows that one. That book is almost 20 years old. And so when you start thinking about, oh yeah, I love that book. I read it 20 years ago. And so it still rings true. And truth continues on. And people say it in different ways, but still, truth is there. And so he wrote in his book, he summarized how to successfully navigate this negativity in the world. And step number 6 is the law of detachment. And the Buddha teaches about that, and the Hindu traditions also talk about detachment as an important way to get through life and not to get caught up in that constant negativity. And in his book, he explains that the true freedom is the ability to let go of all the attachments that we have to things that are outside of ourselves. So the outcomes, what other people think about us, our outside validations, and striving for all that material possessions that make us feel like we have enough. And we need to turn in for truth. He asked us to do 3 things, 3 simple things, in order to maintain and to get into the space of detachment where you are not caught up in that downward spiral. He says you need to allow things around you to just be as they are. That's not your problem. It's outside of you. He's not asking you to ignore it or neglect it. And it does need attention, but it doesn't need all of you. It doesn't need your constant bombardment with your attention. You can allow it to unfold with intention, interacting with it with an open heart and allowing space and allowing it to unfold. You don't need to get caught up in the drama of what's going on. You can live in the circumstances that keep you away from that. But you can address it with mindfulness, with awareness, knowing that your energy will influence it, but it is not yours to take with you and to keep. The circumstances outside yourself are a choice, and you can choose to interact or you can choose to step back. They do not define who you are. We also need to be okay with uncertainty. And in essence, we don't know what's going to happen later today. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen next year or several years down the road. We just don't know what's going to happen. But when we step back and we have faith and allow Source to work its magic, I call it magic, we're able to find solutions and get to the greatest good in every circumstance. Because sometimes we can't plan the best outcome. Sometimes we have to allow it to unfold. There's wisdom in uncertainty. And the chaos can give way to order if we just allow it. Finally, when we let go of our attachments and we become familiar with uncertainty, we open up so many worlds of possibilities because we are not in the way. When we step out of the way, we get into a space of allowing. And as Eric Butterworth said in his talk, any challenge or change can work for good if we just get out of the way. We are free to be. You are free to be you, and I am free to be me. And we are not subject to what's happening in our world, in our society, and all of the negativity that we see outside of us and hear on our social media platforms and listen to when we turn on the news. We can choose not to get caught up in that. We can choose to step back and observe it in a neutral way, to see how it's unfolding. And then you can choose whether or not you want to engage. Do you want to get in that fray? Because that is a choice that you make. But when you make that choice, that is your choice to make. You're not being drug in by any circumstances that are beyond your control. When we step back and we realize that we are detached from the situation, then we can make choices as to whether or not we want to be involved. You can choose to turn off the television. You can choose not to watch the YouTube channel that goes down that rabbit hole of negativity. We know that we are free to choose, to make those choices for ourselves, to be loving, to be kind, to be compassionate, and to allow what needs to unfold in this world for the greatest good, because we know Source has that capacity. We sometimes get in the way of what is the greatest good. So sometimes the best thing to do is detach. Well, the nice thing is we have the freedom to do that. And when we're in that space of consciousness, we are free to make those choices. Step back, take a look. We are free to be. In a few minutes, we're going to go into a meditation where we're going to find out how we can get into ourselves and stay away from what's going on for just a few minutes. But first, I'm going to have Cindy come back with a song, and then we'll come right back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is called It's All Right, and it just focuses on the fact that sometimes that we can embrace our emotions instead of having to run from them.
Yeah.
Trying to be free of them, we can embrace them. I saw you walking alone in the moonlight, watching waves crashing and shuffling your bare feet along the beach. I couldn't be certain, but I thought I heard you crying out to someone. But there was no one as far as I could see. And I wondered if I should tell you that I was out there, if I could help you, or if I should leave and let you be. So I stood by the old shed wondering if you would find it comforting to hear the things I wish someone had told me. It's alright, yes, it's alright. No matter what you're feeling, it's fine. Take your time, 'cause it's alright. If you hold on to the madness or roll up in your sadness, 'cause you can feel whatever you like. It's alright. I saw you laughing and shaking your head about something you were thinking, but your smile faded with the breeze. And I stood by the old shed started wondering if you would find it comforting to hear the things I wish someone had told me. It's alright, yes, it's alright. No matter what you're feeling, it's fine. Take your time, 'cause it's alright. If you hold on to the madness or roll up in your sadness, 'cause you can feel whatever you like. Yes, it's alright. Yes, it's alright. No matter what you're feeling, it's fine. So take your time, 'cause it's alright. If you hold on to the madness or roll up in your sadness, 'cause you can feel whatever. You can feel whatever. Yes, you can feel whatever. Whatever you like. It's alright.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, after that was perfect. Wow. Okay. I just love that when it comes together. All right. Now we're going to go into meditation that's going to bring us into ourselves. It's going to take us away. Sometimes we'll do a meditation that'll take us outside of ourselves, but today we're going to go in. And we're going to do something called Yoga Nidra. I think I've done it before, but I believe that everybody enjoyed it. So we're going to do it again. And I really thought it was appropriate because when we talk about freedom, talk our freedom to choice, freedom to feel the way you want to feel, then you need to be connected with who you are. What is it that you want? What is it that you feel? And sometimes we ignore that by thinking too much or moving about our days or worrying about what's outside of us. But when we connect on the inside, we're able to really recognize what it is we're feeling and what we need to be for ourselves. So Yoga Nidra. This is a short Yoga Nidra practice. Usually Yoga Nidra takes a little bit more time than this. But we're going to do the Yoga Nidra rotation of consciousness around the body. And this will help you detach your consciousness from the outer world and bring it inside. So if you could close your eyes, make sure that you feel supported by the surface that you're on, whether you're sitting in a chair or on the couch, or if you're at home lying on the bed. Just make sure you feel comfortable and supported, that you're warm enough. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And every time you exhale, just allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper onto the surface that you're on. Breathing in and out. Again, feeling yourself getting more and more relaxed with each exhale. Feeling your shoulders becoming less tight, allowing them to relax. And although you may be upright if you're sitting in a chair, you still feel relaxed. Your back is relaxed, shoulders relaxed, legs, feet supported on the ground. And we'll be rotating our consciousness throughout the body. You'll be transferring your awareness from one part of the body to the next. And it is a pretty quick process. Allow your mind to quickly transition from one part of the body to the next. And stay alert, so no dozing off. You should be relaxed throughout this journey. This is your awareness. This is opening up space in your body to become aware of who you are. And you want to see each part that I mention with your mind's eye. So look at it, but you don't move. You are taking this journey within yourself without movement. And as we begin, I'd like you to start off by bringing your awareness to your right hand. Bringing your awareness to your thumb, your second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, the palm of your hand, the back of your right hand, your wrist, your forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, the right side of your body, your waist, your hip, your right thigh, knee, lower leg, your ankle, your heel, the sole of your right foot, the top of your right foot, your big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. And now you've brought your consciousness to the entire right side of your body, all at one time. As we shift to the left side of your body, to your left hand. Bring your awareness to your left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm, back of your hand, your left wrist, your forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, the left side of your body, your waist, your hip, your left thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, heel, the sole of your left foot, the top of your left foot, your big toe, your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and baby toe. Bring your awareness of your entire left side of your body. And now shift your consciousness onto the back of your body. Become aware of your right shoulder blade, your left shoulder blade, your right hip, your left hip, the whole of your spine, up and down, all of it in your back together. And as we finish our consciousness on the back, we want to rotate it to the front of the body, bringing your awareness to your head, moving it to your right temple, left temple, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, the center of your eyebrows, the third eye, right eye and your eyelid, left eye and your eyelid, right cheek, left cheek, right nostril, left nostril, upper lip, lower lip, chin, throat, the right side of the chest, the left side of the chest, the middle of the chest, your navel, abdomen, pelvis. And you want to bring your awareness to both legs, right and left. Bring your awareness to both arms, right and left. Start to integrate all your consciousness from all the parts into one whole part, the awareness of your entire body, front and back, bottom and top. Sit in the awareness and the consciousness of your entire body. You are rested. You are completely still, rejuvenating, regenerating in this awareness of consciousness. You are softening and you are sinking deeper. Just visualize yourself for just a moment, supported by the earth and everything around you, but knowing that you are free to be. Free to be you, free to be what you need to be. And just allow yourself to sit for just a moment in that consciousness. And at this moment, I'd like you to thank your body for all that it does, for the intelligence, the wisdom that it holds. Take a deep breath, bringing your awareness back to the consciousness of outside your body, back into this space. Allowing yourself to wake up if you are dozing off, or to bring yourself just back to this regular waking consciousness when you open your eyes. Take another deep breath in. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and we will go on to some more music with Cindy.
When I was just a girl, I thought I had it figured out. My life would turn out right, and I'd make it here somehow. But things don't always come that easy, and sometimes I would doubt. Oh, 'cause I got a couple dents in my fender, a couple rips in my jeans. I try to fit the pieces together, but perfection is my enemy, and on my own I'm so clumsy. But on your shoulders I can see I'm free to be me. Sometimes I believe that I can do anything, yet other times I think I've got nothing good to bring. But you look at my heart and you tell me that I've got all I need. Oh, it's easy to believe, even though I got a couple dents in my fender, a couple rips in my jeans. I try to fit the pieces together, but perfection is my enemy, and on my own I'm so clumsy. But on your shoulders I can see I'm free to be me, and you're free to be you.
When you came up with this topic, I didn't know she had a song. That was like that was awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, we come to the part of our service where we open our hearts to give. Any donations that you give to Unity of Tacoma go to the outreach programs and the musicians and all of the things that we do here. We just had a baby diaper drive. For those of you who were involved, I was able to drop those off at the Family Housing Network this week, and they were so grateful. They had no idea we were coming. I didn't tell them. I just called them and say, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And we had boxes and bags and all kinds of stuff, and so they were very appreciative. So anything that you give here to Unity of Tacoma goes out to the community to support programs like the Family Housing Network and homeless families transitioning into a home. So they were so grateful. So thank you to all of you who were part of that project. And so there are several ways, if you want to continue to give to support our program here. You can go to our Facebook page and you can donate by clicking the button at the top of the page that says donate, www.facebook.com/Unity of Tacoma, and you can donate there. You can donate on our website at unityoftacoma.org/donate, and you can do that via PayPal on our website. You can donate through Zelle using our telephone number, 253-576-3225. And you can also mail a check to Unity of Tacoma, P.O. Box 112289, Tacoma, Washington, 98411. And as we prepare to give, I would like you to hold the intention of prosperity within your hands, visualizing that circulation of abundance flowing through you and as you. And Jesus taught in Luke 6:38, give and you will receive. You will be given much, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It will spill into your lap. The way you give to others is the way God will give back to you. And as you visualize holding a gift within your hands, please repeat after me. Divine love, flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for my blessings today, and I am grateful in every way. And so it is. Amen. May the blessings of your gift bring so many blessings back to you. We are so grateful for everything that you do to support Unity of Tacoma. So our announcements. We have an exciting next Sunday. Sunday, July 10th, our guest speaker will be Stefan Plummer. And our musical guests will be the Katie Jane Band, which is a Celtic duo and of fiddle and guitar. So real excited about that. And the focus will be on lived experience of LGBTQIA plus representative from that community. So this talk will be part of our IDEA program, Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Access, and we continue to open up the floor and to allow the podium for people within that community to be able to have a voice and to be able to be heard and to enliven our Unity community. And so we're really excited, and that will be next Sunday at 10 a.m. So please either join us in person, we're going to be in person, or we are going to be online. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful performance and talk by Stefan Plummer. If you like what's happening here at Unity of Tacoma, please like and share us on social media. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have TikTok, we have YouTube. Just check us out. We're there. We have a website. Just check us out. See if you like us. And if you like us, send us out on your social media. Tell people what you're doing on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. or whether you watch us afterwards from our YouTube channel or from our website. You can certainly let them know that you think we're pretty okay. So please do that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, there is an opportunity for you to comment below the video. Please do so, because we would like to interact with you. We want to connect with you and make sure that your voice is heard. Even though you're not in the building with us, we still know you're there. And so our consciousnesses are still connected. So please let us know what you think by commenting underneath the video. And you can also do so if you're watching this from our website. You can comment below. There's an area that you can comment there as well. And our benediction is very short today because I did a lot of talking and a lot of things today. But today's benediction is from Viktor Frankl. And I thought it was extremely appropriate. I am one of those people, I love celebrating the 4th of July with my family, but I am not a person who likes fireworks. And so my reaction is to all of that makes me all stressed out. But thought it was great. It says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our own freedom. I would like to thank Cindy for being here and just a wonderful angel. I appreciate you being here. and she's going to take us out with our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. If you are here in the building and you can stand, that would be great. If you're at home and you want to stand, please do so. If you don't know the words, that's okay. It's a wonderful song to listen to. Otherwise, if you know the words, sing along.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step we take, let this be our joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful 4th of July, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.